Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of Cleaning and Cocktails. You guys know the deal, where I bring on cleaning business owners, cleaning coaches, cleaning mentors, technology software founders, equipment manufacturing, anything you name is in the cleaning industry is who I bring on. And today, I got a special guest. We were just talking a little bit before we got on the show. I have Denai Wolfe, the Chic CFO from Wilmington, Delaware. Take it away, Denai.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be on. I love how unique your show is because I feel like a lot of times when I get invited to do these things, everybody's so prim and proper. And I spotted you like over a year ago. Like it was like a long time ago. And I was like, he's making this fun. Like we're having cocktails. Like this is my scene. So I'm literally so excited to be here.
No, Denai, I tell you, it was, I can't even remember when I came up with the name, but I was having a cocktail and we were talking about cleaning. We were in my office and we were doing like a whiteboard session. I love whiteboard sessions. And I'm like, man, I gotta do something. It's COVID. Like, nobody's in the office. I'm like, I gotta do something. And cleaning, cocktails, and we put those together. And to your point, it's been fun. So thank you for taking the
Yeah.
time because this is your time, right? People like you guys are entrepreneurs. I call you guys builders. We're builders, right? A community of builders. So again, thank you for taking the time. I know you got football to get to in a little bit. So what I wanted to do was jump right into this session. And I think this one's important. And again, the audience today is small business owners in the cleaning industry. Some may be mid, large size, but it doesn't matter what size you are, which I know you could agree, numbers. Numbers are crucial, whether you're one employee to thousands of employees. So I love that you even refer to yourself as the Chic CFO. So obviously, it's a glamorous title that you love to add a little bit of adjective to it. So explain. Obviously, you love numbers, but what is it about the cleaning industry though that kind of
Yeah.
put you hand in hand with the cleaning industry though?
Yeah. So my story is actually that I was so broke. Like I didn't know you could be as broke as I was because I didn't know your bank account could go in the negative. That was like I called the bank like something's broken. Like I didn't know that could actually happen. I'm like, my bank account's in the negative. That's not possible. And they're like, yeah, it is. You overdrew your account. I'm like, you guys let that happen? Like, what do you? I was like shocked that that was something that could happen. So in going through that, I was in my early 20s, bank accounts overdrawn. Everything's just like I'm a total financial hot mess. And I owned a quick service restaurant. It's like a local franchise around here. And I had opened one location and it was just a disaster. So I was like going to bed at night crying, like, how am I going to make payroll? How am I going to pay rent? It was just really bad. And it culminated with me getting an eviction notice. And I'm in my 20s, right? So like you get certified mail. I've never experienced that. So I'm like, oh my God, like I won the lottery. Like I'm thinking like
Something
so
good. Something
great.
good.
Oh my God, what is this? And I open it up and I'm like, what is happening? And that was really just my rock bottom. And I was like, okay, so I need to figure out what's going on. And it was around this time that I read this quote, which it's funny because now I'm like, everybody knows that. But at the time, remember, I'm in my 20s. And I was like, this is so profound. But the quote was, work smarter, not harder. And I was like, oh my gosh, I am working so hard. I have never worked this hard in my life. And yet I've never been this broke in my life. How do I work smarter? And I just literally started Googling, like, how do successful businesses make it? And it's funny because at the time, I didn't even know to think about the word profit. And now, like, I use profit on everything. I eat, sleep, and breathe the word profit. But at the time, I was just saying, like, successful businesses. And in searching it, I started learning about numbers. And make a long story short, I put my numbers together and the answers that I had been searching for jumped off the page at me. I instantly knew why I was a broke bitch. Like I immediately knew exactly what the problems were. Like I went through the percentages and overnight made my business profitable. Overnight.
Wow.
At no
So
point did I increase revenue. At no point. I did not increase sales. To be honest, I suck at marketing. Never increased revenue. I just learned how to read and interpret the numbers and then use that to make smart decisions.
So
So
Denai,
we became
wow.
profitable overnight.
So as you know, right. So think about how I introduced you, right? As a Chic CFO, right? Denai Wolfe, CFO. Right away, I would think if I'm listening to right now, is like, oh, well, Denai's MBA in accounting, an accounting degree major, or what? So what you're saying is you researched, you did your homework to understand what your numbers were. So why I'm highlighting this, everybody who's listening and watching, is because you didn't come from the background. So what you're saying is you just understood where were you losing money, where your business was not profitable. You went out there. So that to me shows that a lot of people can do this then, right? Or this is not some, like it's an MBA program. Yes, don't get me wrong. There's degrees in school that you go to understand your numbers, but was it simple numbers? And like, is there a couple of things that just, because I love that you call yourself a financial clarity coach, because that's what we need as business owners sometimes is clarity. Being in the red, it doesn't feel good. So can you elaborate more on like those beginning stages, like the feeling that
Yeah.
you had? Did you feel overwhelmed, or how did you tackle saying, hey, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get after it.
I tell people all the time, there's stress in life and then there's financial stress. It is a stress unlike any other. Outside of there being something with your health or a loved one's health, financial stress is the absolute worst type of stress that you can be under. It ruins families, it ruins marriages, it can end friendships, it can close businesses. So it was not a fun time. I very rarely slept, and I really just thought the solution was I have to work harder. And once I stopped working in the business and started working on it and actually started educating myself and learning how to read a P&L, how to read a balance sheet, I fixed everything. And what happened was to me, it was like a magic trick. Like I was so blown away by it. So I started volunteering at my local women's business center. So anybody listening, there is a women's business center in every state. Everything is free there and they have a lot of great resources. So I encourage you to check it out if you can. But I just started volunteering to teach financial literacy to entrepreneurs because I wanted them to know, like, I'm living proof. You don't have to be good at math. You do not need to have an accounting degree. Like, this is not your CPA's accounting. This is entrepreneurial accounting. It is very different. Entrepreneurial accounting is about making sure you are getting paid and that you are paying Uncle Sam, because we don't want to get in trouble with that. Mm-hmm. That's actually what this is about, having profitable businesses and making sure we're paying our taxes and paying ourselves. So I started volunteering to teach that, and people started asking me if they could hire me as their coach. And I was like, no, like this is like my hobby. Like I'm just inspired. Like I have a restaurant, and at the time I actually was able to open up a second location. I paid all cash. I had managers running them. I had no debt. Like everything was going great in restaurant world at this point. But people kept asking, and there was one woman who was like, can we just go to lunch? And let me just tell you, like, I just want to pick your brain. How about I just buy you lunch? Because I didn't want to charge her, because I think it was just imposter syndrome. And she had a cleaning company. And it was in that meeting, the way I helped her, that I was like, I want to go where I can bring the most value. And she sent me with another cleaner and another cleaner. And then I tried a couple of other different industries. And it's funny because I used to say my niche, my client is who I want to have a drink with. And that's what I used to say all the time. You could find that like written on my website. And I found
so you're meant to be on this show right now. You're meant to be on this show.
Meant to be on this show. I manifested being on this show. But I just found I was vibing with them the most because I love, to me, when people are like, they just kind of are a bit negative and think like you can't, it's so hard to make money. And I'm like, people are literally taking how to clean and making so much money. Like, to me, it is just the epitome of like, you work smarter. Like, you took something that everyone needs and you turn it into these profitable businesses. And I just clicked with these. Most of them tend to be women, and most of them tended to have these stories of they started their business because they were trying to get that work-life balance. And it just resonated with me. And that's the community I was having the biggest impact in. And we just went all in on it. And I actually ended up selling my restaurants and going all in on this. And we've been
Well,
doing
think
that now,
about
like 2018.
So thank you for committing yourself to this industry because I'll tell you, it's a big need. Knowing your numbers, I mean, it's an industry that many people can get in, Danae, right? Like the
Yes.
entry, it's a low entry to barrier. You know,
Low barrier to entry. Yes.
couple $1,000s, couple things of equipment, you're up and running, right? Again, depending on what commercial, residential that you want to get into. But did you know over 52% of cleaning business owners fail the first year? Right? And and then think of in 2022, 52,000 cleaning companies started. So 50% of those failed. And the number one reason is numbers. You get into it
I
not
call
understanding,
it growing
right?
pains. I think people kind of think it's just going to be this little operation. And it
Yeah.
really snowballs. It
Oh yeah.
snowballs. You watch them go through the phase of, I'm going to be a self-employed cleaning woman. So I am a party of one. I am my business. And then they start getting a wait list and they're like, oh my gosh, wait, I have to hire. But they didn't necessarily set out with the vision of like hiring and getting a team. And like, it's really these unique stories of these women who are just like, I just wanted to be able to get my kid off the bus at school. And they wake up and they're like, I'm managing a team of 10. What the F just happened? And it happens so quickly. And they're just trying to like get their legs out from under them. And something that they say to me so often, a direct quote, is they'll go, I'm just a cleaning girl. I'm just a cleaning girl. Like, and I'm like, no, you are a boss bitch. Like, look at your industry. Look what's going on. The demand is huge.
Oh yeah.
It's huge. And you bring so much to families' lives. Like, to me, there's such a deeper connection there because at the end of the day, your most valuable resource is your time. And like, we could not survive without the people who help us with our home. Like, it's critical to me. So I think it's just such a great industry. But I think it's so often they just don't realize what's going to happen. And they just kind of wake up one day and they're running an empire.
Yeah.
And it can be really hard to kind of be able to come up for air and see what the heck is going on because it just happens so fast.
Oh man, you're preaching. You're preaching. And you know what is it as of late too, Danae, I've seen many women, especially women owners. You know, they start this idea. They start with this concept of, you know, the kids are going to school. I've got like 9 to 3 p.m. perfect time. What's better? You clean like 3 or 4 houses, right? It starts that way.
Yeah.
And then many of them, they come back and they're like, oh man, I have a business now. People want more. I have to do HR. I have to do marketing. I have to do my payroll. Like, oh wait, by the way, I want to do some commercial too. Okay, well that's a different, like,
Yeah.
it happens pretty damn. I've had so many that come on. I've shared so many stories. I meet with them, right? I have, there's this big event coming in a couple weeks but we know what I love is the excitement. So is that what drives you when you're talking to them? Like, because again, this isn't your business, right? These aren't your businesses that you're working with. You're just helping them from the financial perspective. But I got to believe when you see that some of these women and guys and whoever it is, right? Any entrepreneur, they have a profitable business. Like that's exciting because you could 10X, you could 5X, you could 3X because the foundation is there.
Yep. And we just see the success stories. We see them go from, you know, $30,000 a month in revenue, and a year later they could be at $120,000 a month in revenue. It just really can happen so quickly. And our job is really just to help them not get taken down by what I call growing pains and make sure that they've got a solid financial foundation. Because one of the big things, just think about it like building a house, right? So if that foundation is shaky, that house is going to come crumbling down, right? And the bigger and more beautiful it would be, the bigger the catastrophe, because that foundation is so shoddy. So a lot of times with money, what we don't realize is we tend to believe our money problems are coming from a lack of money. So I always tell our students, I'm like, listen, money won't solve your problems if the problem is you. Because if you're having a hard time managing money, and let's say you're doing 50K a year, if you suddenly start making 500K a year, you're still going to have a hard time managing your money. Because at the end of the day, the problem isn't the money, it's you. You do not know how to manage the money, whether it's $5 or $50 or $1 million. So it's really important that they build this foundation of understanding the way that money works. And I just feel like it's so much even bigger than their business. We always take it that next level to your life, right? Because at the end of the day, our business is there to give us the life we want. That's actually its purpose. That's why we started it. So we always want them to get really intentional about, well, what is the life I want? How much money do I want to make? How many hours do I want to work? And then the beauty of this industry is it becomes a very simple equation.
I was going to ask you that.
You can pump it out. Like, we get so micro to say, you need to do X amount of cleanings a week. You need X amount of cleaners. You currently have X amount, so you need to add 3 more. So you should do this many ads to hire. Like, we can get so micro, but it all starts with, what do you want? And one of the things I see kind of plaguing the industry is a lot of just chasing huge numbers without actually knowing why.
Yeah.
So I'll give you an example. We go through.
I want to have $1 million. I want to have $1 million cleaning company, right? Like that.
I was just gonna say. Yes. Like textbook. Like, I don't, kudos to the coach who started that, whoever it was, because that message is everywhere. Excellent marketing skills. And I hear that all the time. And then we have them go through our dream life scenario, and we'll be like, you actually need 500 a year, or you actually need 750. Sometimes, it's $1 million. Sometimes it's 1.5. Everybody's different, and everybody has different, needs and wants and desires. But if you don't know exactly why you're doing this and exactly what you want, you're never going to feel fulfilled. If it's literally just this benchmark of like, I want to be $1 million. Okay, I hit that. Now I want to be 1.5. Well, why?
Yeah.
Why? Can you tell me what is going to change in your day-to-day life if you hit this benchmark of revenue? What happens for you? Because too often it almost becomes that the business is treated like it's a living, breathing organism. Like it's a being that has to be like taken care of. And at the end of the day, like, it actually only exists to take care of you. The actual thing that matters is not about building your dream business. It's actually about building your dream life. And they have it so backwards. And it's just because I want $1 million. I want $1 million. Why? To get a badge? Like, no.
Yeah. No. So you know what? Like, so what do they say? They say you work to live, not live to work. Right? I think, is that, or is it the other way? Is that right? That's the way. All right. So I used that example. Denai, I did use that a couple weeks ago. I put that number on a whiteboard because it's very common, very popular. And the stats are against many. It's only 93% of the industry doesn't even hit 1 million in revenue, right?
Yeah.
That's a very big fragmentation. But it was when I started to show them like, all right, well, the next is 500, the next is 250. Your first goal should even be 100K. Like, how do I hit 100K a year in revenue? But to that point, how do you, when you're talking to them, like, what is the first meeting? I think I know, but what do you sit down before they even get to like, I want to make this much revenue? What are the first couple of things that you actually dig into to understand who you're talking to and working with?
We start with discovering where you are. And I'm going to tell you right now, this is usually the first time I have them cry because a lot of people don't know where they are. This is when they discover their husband has $20,000 in credit card debt they didn't know about. This is when they discover they've missed a couple mortgage payments and they didn't realize it. Or this is when they discover they actually are making a lot more money than they realized and they're overspending, right? This is when they get that bird's eye view of what's going on. And for me, it's about a total immersive experience of financial literacy. So this is beyond the balance sheet. This isn't just you need to read your P&L on your balance sheet. This is you need a life plan. So are you trying to create generational wealth? Let's talk about it. If you want to have that, great. We need a plan. Do you have emergency funds? Do you have college funds for your kids if that's applicable to you? And another thing that we work with them on is what I call focus funds. So a lot of times we'll say, okay, how much money do you need to bring home per month, right? And let's just say somebody says $5,000 a month, whatever, $8,000 a month. Okay, so you need to make $8,000 a month. Yeah. Okay. Do you ever go on family vacations? Yeah. Okay. So what do you usually call? We need more than $8,000 a month then, because you're not on a regular month going on vacation, right? So I'm assuming that wasn't a part of the 8. Okay. Do you celebrate Christmas? How much you spending for that, right? So we have them figure out their regular monthly needs. Then we do what we call our focus funds, and that's all those annual things. Divide by 12. We add that to whatever they thought their monthly was. And then we prepare them for tomorrow. Not enough people are talking about the importance of being prepared for retirement, being prepared for emergencies, right? We need a plan to make sure you have 6 months of your personal expenses saved up. Because if something goes down in your business, well, we all experienced COVID, right? You need to make sure your family is okay. That's all. And that's when I come back to the thing of like, your business is not a living, breathing entity. You are. You need to make sure not to lose vision of the fact that your business is there to give you and your family the life that you want. That's what it's about. So we have them break through all of that, discover exactly where they are and exactly where they want to go. So what is that actual monthly amount? And we have them first just guess everything. Like we just ask the questions before they dive into it. They're always off. Everybody's always off. So they'll tell us, oh, I need to make $400,000. This is a popular one. I need to make $400,000 a year. Okay. We're going to go through all the numbers. You need to make $250,000 a year. What were you planning on doing with that extra $150,000? Because unless you have an actual plan of world domination and all these grants doing with it, or you're giving to charity, why are you setting yourself up for failure at work that you're not producing the 400? That's, you just, not only is it not what you need, but you just told me it's not what you want because you just said everything you want and it came to 250. Why did you think it was 400? So most people just don't know what their dream life costs. They've never taken the time. So those are the 2 things we start with. And then once they know where they are, know where they want to go, we move into strategy with them. And that's where we're evaluating pricing, we're evaluating efficiencies, we're evaluating your team. One of the big things I see happen in the cleaning industry, if an owner is not able to take the pay they want, very rarely do I see a situation where the cleaner's pay is out of whack. It's usually admin. That's like one of the big things. And you got to be careful with that. But then they become very, well, I need this person or I'm dependent on this person. And you got to be honest. You have to have those honest conversations and really look at where is all of the cash going. So we move into that strategy with them and helping them make sure that they're optimized to get the life they want. But we just don't take those bullshit answers of, I want $1 million cleaning business. Why? What's the plan for that money? Because I'm not here to stroke your ego or make sure you get it back. I'm here for you to live the life you want. And if the life you want that we got super deep and we meditate, I go all into it to make sure I narrow down what you wanted. And if we put a price tag to it and it wasn't $1 million, why are we doing this? Go back to the drawing board and figure out, but I'm not here to help you hit $1 million for a pat on the back unless you have an actual plan and intent with that money, because then it's really just about money for the sake of money, and I'm not about that.
Ooh, man. You said it earlier, the BB word. I'll let you say it before I say it. Boss bitch, but it's okay. No, that is Denai, that's reality check though. I feel is what you do for people too, right? And what I wanted, there's a couple things I got going as my head's spinning here. So again, for people to realize, right? Denai didn't start a cleaning company on her own, right? You just you learned and understood fundamentals. And what I think is pretty interesting is, so you had these quick serve companies. I think I have a note of you had like a photography business. So you've been an entrepreneur. You're a builder. You like to build business, right? But Denai, how awesome is it that in the beginning you spoke about being broke. You did not come into this with a plan. And what I want people to listen and watch about is it's okay to be vulnerable and fail. I failed many times, but what that does is look what happened to you, right? And this is like this is a part of everybody's story, and is everybody's cut from this cloth. Whoever is trying to build and be an entrepreneur, is you don't know everything. In the beginning, you did it. You went right back after it to learn it. And again, I'm happy that you're doing this in the cleaning industry. But like, how is it that you relay that to everybody? Is, hey, break down the barrier, lower your guard. I'm going to share do you share your story to them? Do you let them know that I've been there, I've done this, like, let me help you walk the life that I did, so then you could share your story with me?
Yeah, and it's funny because I was hesitant to, because I didn't know if it would diminish my authority. And I was afraid that if I told people, hey, all this stuff I teach you works, but here's my actual truth. And I was worried. And then one day I was like, you know what? I just don't care anymore. Like, I need to just be who I am. And I did a Facebook Live in my friggin' bathroom. And I literally was just like, here's the friggin' story. Like, here's what actually happened. And that was a pivotal moment for the business, because I got so many messages of people just being like, I connect with you so much more. Now, I thought you studied this in school. And I'm like, no, I didn't even hang out with kids who were like studying this in school. Like, that's not my scene at all. So it took me a while to get over it. But when I did, it helped. And it just helps me connect with people. Because I think another thing too, when we're talking about accounting and financial literacy and things like that, most of the time they are taught by people who studied this in school. And I'm just being stereotypical. Most people who studied accounting in school and got their CPA, they don't have an entrepreneurial bone in their body. Like, it's just not their thing. That was kind of that's like one of the most safest routes you can go. What are the two certainties in life? Taxes and death. So you're either going to work at the funeral home or be an accountant, and you've got job security for life. So it's like they don't have that creative wavelength, right? It's a very different type of person. Again, I'm being stereotypical. I'm sure there's tons of cool CPAs out there, but for the most part, they're not really entrepreneurial. So once I just started embracing that, like, I just felt I was getting deeper connections with our students. Like, people were then getting better results because it was like they believed me more, so they were going all in, and it changed everything. So just being honest with my story really took us to the next level. We're
going to take a break right now, right? So on the break, you guys are going to hear from our sponsor, a little word, a couple videos. You guys know how we do it now. So we'll be back in a few seconds.
We know managing a commercial cleaning company can be overwhelming. And let's not forget about managing your inventory and supplies. It's not an easy task to ensure you have everything you need to keep your operation running smoothly. That's why we're here, to help you take control of your business, so you can do what you do best. Managing your business. Introducing Raw Pulse, our innovative software designed specifically for commercial cleaning companies. We give you access to your data in real time to unlock the pulse of your business. With Raw Pulse, you can streamline your operations, optimize your resources, and grow your business like never before. Join the Raw Network today and supercharge your business. Discover the pulse of your business. Visit GetRoute.com or click the link below and schedule a demo. And let Route power your success.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Denai, we were touching on some personal stuff in the break right now, and I actually want to jump right back into there, right? Because we're talking a lot about business, we're talking a lot about the industry, and I wanted to ask you, because this is one thing I don't think many people have in common with you right now, is you were in part of a TV show, or you were on a movie, or you were as an extra.
Yes,
So, and
I was.
I gotta have some fun stuff. I gotta have some fun stuff as well as we're on this. So,
Yes.
so share what was that about? Jason Statham? Is that true?
So, yes. So the movie was called Safe. And I had a friend of mine who had actually been doing movies and TV show, and he was like actually getting speaking parts and making money. And he called and he was like, so I live in Delaware. So he was like, hey, my agent just told me there is a shoot happening in Philadelphia, which is like local. And he was like, he sent me like, I don't know, I think it's called like the call sheet, but like it has descriptions of like what they're looking for. So they might be like, I'm looking for, you know, an Asian male or this. And he was like, you meet one of these descriptions, like, do you want to do it? So I'm like, hell's yeah, I want to do it. Like, how cool would that be? Let me tell you how not cool it is. So I go, and I've never done extra work before. Like, you're just like the extras on set. We stood in the cold, in the dark, in Philly all night. But when I say all night, like, I mean, I was walking to my car at 7 a.m. I had no idea that that's just like, in hindsight, I'm like, yes, actors say like it's long days, but like we got there at like 4 o'clock and then we left at 7 a.m. and we did it for 3 nights, and you had to wear the same clothes for the whole 3 days in a row. It was miserable. It was miserable. And I literally got paid like $200. But I got to meet Jason Statham, whatever. I was like, cool to witness how they do it in the special effects, but so not my scene at all. But it was a cool experience, but pretty miserable. I'm not gonna lie. It was not. I wouldn't do it again.
There you go. Now you know what you wouldn't do again, right?
Yeah, one and done for sure.
So that's a funny story. Now I want to hear some feel good stories too, Denai, because again, you're not just about business. You're not just about the cleaning industry. You've got your family, right? You got the family that you have that I know you just went on vacation. I think that me and you were going back and forth, and you're like, yeah, I'd love to do the show, but I got to come back from a long vacation. So today, as you're doing the meetings and the clients are coming in, the students, as you call them, right? They're coming in. As you've been talking about in the past, you know, where you put your time and your focus and carving out money to spend time with your family. How important is family for you? Even though it seems like you're a boss, you're busy, you're working. How important is family for you as you run your business?
Yeah. So this is actually an exercise I have all of our students go through with us. It's just the repeated questioning and asking yourself, why? Okay, why are you doing this? Why do you want to get your financial shit under control, right? So for me, in the beginning, I was in my early 20s, right? So I'm just like, I need to get my financial shit under control because I'm getting evicted. Like, pretty easy to know why I was trying to get it under control. And in doing that, I then, like I said, I branched out from just managing my company's financials to getting my personal finances together and learning how to invest in the stock market, how to get a retirement account, how to do all of these things. And I set a goal for myself that, because I had read millionaires, most of them don't achieve that status till their 50s or 60s. So I remember telling, he's now my husband, but at the time he's my boyfriend, and I was like, I want to do it in my 30s. And he was like, okay, why? And he just genuinely was like asking why. And I was like, because everybody else does it in their 50s or 60s. Like, here's the stat I found. I want to beat him.
Yeah.
And then I became a mom. And I still had that goal. And my why changed. And I realized through probably a dozen why, was that I wanted to have financial security early in my 30s, not in my 50s and 60s, because I knew how important the formative years are with my children, specifically to make sure that I was spending quality time with them. And not just me, but also my husband. And in order for him to be able to do that, he truly has to be unplugged from work. And the best way to do that is for travel. So I knew I wanted that, but as I kept pushing why, I actually realized my biggest fear in all of life would be for me to have adult children who weren't that close to me. That was actually the aha moment of, oh my God, this is why I do everything, because I believe if I build it now, it'll last forever. So that's actually my why. Like for me, I'm going to have success if I've got 35-year-old kids who want to go on family vacation with us, who want to come here for Christmas. I don't want to bribe them. I don't want to guilt them. I want them to want to hang out with us.
Wow.
And I hope it's starting now. Like I hope I'm creating that now. And for me to do that and to be fully, I read a book, I forget what it was called, but it was something about being present. And I realized when I went through those financial problems in my 20s, I was the least present I have ever been my entire life, because I could have been sitting here having this conversation with you, but I would genuinely be in the back of my mind, is this going to overdraw? Is this something that like just constant, heavy? I could not be present fully in anything because this stress was debilitating. And I didn't want that as a mom. I want to be present. I want to know when I walk out of this meeting right now with you and I go back into my living room with my kids, I'm there. I am 100% there. I am in the moment. And the only way to do that for me is to not be back in a place, because I have PTSD. I don't want to have that financial stress and worry again. So I needed to be present and have clarity and not be stressed out. And I need to be able to make sure that I have the resources that my husband and I can travel with them. I just believe my parents did it with us. I believe travel solidifies that bonds. I think we have more conversations with our kids in a week trip in Disney than we do a week at home. Everybody's running around. We've got sports, we've got this. And when you're free from all the distractions, you just bond on a different level. Same thing with my husband and I. We take trips without the kids, away from work, away from everything, so we can bond on a different level. But my whole why is I want adult kids who want to be with me. So come back to me in 20 years and I'll tell you if it works.
We got you. Yeah. No, dude. But that's a great perspective though. I mean, like think about, so 2 points, right? Clarity. You speak on clarity. I think I really see why you're sticking, you love that word, because it really speaks on volumes on multiple things. But I think back for a moment, in this moment that we're talking, like my most stressful times came from, can I make payroll? Do we have enough funds in the account? Holy shit, my account's withdrawn, right? One of our episodes that the only episode my wife did, she doesn't like to do any episodes with us, is she talked about humble beginnings. And, we went to use the credit card to buy a piece of gum and it got declined, right? Like we couldn't even buy a $2 bet. But we left. That's the thing though, Denai, is like the partner that you have, the spouse or the boyfriend or whatever you have, if they're in it with you though, it does make it better though. Like she didn't stress out, right? Like she didn't like come down on me like, oh my God, like, are you kidding me? What happened with the finance? Nothing. It's just like, whatever. What's another card? Oh, that one doesn't work either. Okay. Like we had fun with it. So that I was stressed, but at the same time, the remedy was my wife and my cousin and my family, right? But then another point, when I go on vacation, we're going in one in a couple weeks, just my wife and I. You're right. Like those are the moments. Yeah, I'm gonna pick up the phone. I'm gonna answer a message. I may do this. But I do it with like a smile on my face because I'm on a beach or I'm in a nice hotel or we're walking down this beautiful architectural, path. Like, and I feel like that's what we need sometimes. Like, is that a reset for you? Like for you and the family when you guys go out?
You have to remove yourself from your day to day. So like this year, this is the most So last year we moved into our dream home. We bought 11 acres. It was just woods. We cleared it. We designed the home. We built a custom home. And obviously leading up to that, all of our money was kind of going to the house. So this year we're like, okay, we don't have to pay for the house. So we have so many trips this year. And each one of them, you just feel like you learn something new. You learn something new about each other. You learn something new about your children. You just get those deeper bonds because, like, think about it like this, because I think so many entrepreneurs would understand this point. When you're planning for your business, right? If you're like sitting down and you want to come up with like a marketing campaign or how, like maybe write some SOPs, a common thing will be like, don't go in the office, go to like the coffee shop. Like you'll remove yourself from the environment because you know that you want to get down to business, right? So we get it in our business, but it's the same thing in life. Like if you want to have that deep, like all attention, like everything focused, it's hard in the house because my husband could take off, I could take off, and we could stay home. But you know what? He's probably going to realize this needs to be fixed. And I'm going to realize this drawer should be reorganized. And there's going to be busy work that seeps in. So to me, the only way that I have been able to create that all attention focus on family is on vacation because there's zero distractions. There's zero distractions. So it's been really great. We took the kids to Curacao. We went 10-day island hopping. We did Puerto Rico, Calabria, and Vieques, and we're going to Disney in 3 weeks. So, and that's where we choose to spend our money because to me, that's an investment for all of our future because I think it helps create a bond that I pray is unbreakable and lasts while they're adults.
35 years old, come back to me. No, but hey, that is like I'm thinking about it though. Like my son though, so Nico's 5, and he is aware of, Dad, I want to go. You know, because we took him. He loves to explore, right? He loves animals. He knows every freaking animal's name at 5 years old already, but like he says, Dad, I remembered when we did this. Again, only 5, and he's anticipating when we're going to go to the next vacation. Hey, are we going to the lake? Dad, are we going to that beach that we went to in Florida? Like, vividly remembers those things. So you're right. Like, it's almost an exercise. Like, let's keep pumping that memory. Because then by the time they're 35, they're going to call you. Like, hey, Mom, when's the next vacation? It may be you say, I'm tired. I don't want to go this.
No. Yeah, you create those core memories and those unbreakable bonds. And I think what all entrepreneurs need to do is make sure that they identify what that high level why is. For me, it's making sure my family always remains intact, both my marriage and my relationship with our kids. And I then my job is to build a business that does that. I'm not asking my family to adjust to the company. I'm asking the company to make my family possible, to make my life possible. And that only happens with deep soul searching and being really specific about what you want, not just the money you want, but the hours you want to work and what it looks like and getting really nitty gritty and micro and then designing the business to sustain that. That's what it's really all about.
I was like, I don't even know if we got to keep talking. Like, that was it. Boom, 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 boom. You lined it all up right there. No. So actually today, what I want to do, because as I continue to do more and more episodes, I start thinking of things I should be doing. And one thing that I haven't done that I think I'm going to use this moment to do it is a recap, right? Like a recap on the stuff we've been talking about. You just did a great job at like literally stacking it up one by one, the reason of your why, right? And if I get a couple things out of this, right? It's the word clarity with your numbers, right? It's what I love that you said, dream life. I had actually never heard that before. Like, I've heard of dream manager, which we were talking about earlier, right? You have dreams, success, money. Money always gets a part of the word success, but in your description, dream life, and we'll leave it where I want people to actually reach out to you. I'm going to talk to you later about the events that we do, because I think you would do great at one of our events. But like, I want people to reach out to you and ask you about Dream Life, because I think what you did a great job in this last 45, 50 minutes is you talked about life, you talked about business, and simultaneously with life, where a lot of people think business first, right? And it's like money. Yes, we know money makes you happy. I get it. I know it allows me to make some decisions I never would have had. But the fact that you couple that with life, kudos to you, right? We didn't even do a cheers yet. So cheers to you on the Dream Life. I love that. I love that you are real and genuine. So again, I get the feeling people are going to want to reach out and connect with you, which I'm going to be very excited about, because your story is unique. Again, you didn't come from the cleaning industry. You didn't build a cleaning company and fell face forward and I'm going to go back and show people, right? That's what I'm doing, right? Is I've hit the floor, I failed many times, and now I learned a lot from that, and I'm going back and doing stuff like this. But your way, take the business out, the industry out. What you do, you could do for many, right? Doesn't matter what industry it is. But again, thank you for falling in love with the cleaning industry, because it needs people like you, right? So as we come up to an end of the episode, what other, I love, is there a formula? Is there any pieces of advice or shared experience that you've always been sharing now is that you can share with those cleaning business owners that have hit that wall right now? And if they're listening, they're upset, they're stressed out, they're feeling like they're about to give up. Like, what are those things that you can touch on for us right now?
Yeah. So if you are a cleaning company who's in a place where you're just like, I feel like I'm about to break, right? If that's where you are, I want you to sit back and create a plan. Okay. A plan gives you clarity. Clarity gives you peace. So if they can actually sit down and figure out what they want, okay? I want them to figure out their dream life, and then I want you to gross it up for taxes, and then you're going to know what your business has to do. And then I want you to very intentionally see what that business would look like. So as an example, let's say you go through the scenario and you now know you need a cleaning company that does, I don't know, $500,000 a year, and you need to double, in order to achieve that, you need to double your staff. I want you to have a serious come to Jesus moment and say, do I want to manage that many people? Is that the life I want? Is that the business I want? Because if it's not, you need to pivot. You need to figure it out. There's other ways that you can serve and make money that will be feeling more in alignment with the vision you have for your life. But that's really what I want them to do. What does your dream life cost? Gross it up for taxes, reverse engineer that into your company, and then say, in order for the company I have to give me the life I want, X, Y, and Z has to happen. How do you feel about X, Y, and Z? Because if you don't feel good about it, you're not going to do it, which means you are never going to get your dream life. And then what are we doing here anyways? You're always going to feel unfulfilled. You're always going to feel like you're not, hitting the mark. So that's what I would tell them to do. That's the exact steps they should be taking.
Ooh, love it. Love it. So, I mean, think about it. It's a framework. It's a blueprint. Again, it's different for everybody. It's different for everybody. So, I'm sure you're not opposed to. I'm going to, have all of your information in the description. I mean, if you want to also, what are the best ways, Denai? Is it Facebook? Yeah. Is it LinkedIn? What's the best way for people to get a hold of you?
So what I would tell them to do is I actually want them to go to the chiccfo.com/profit plan. This is a totally free roadmap. It walks them through all the steps. You're going to get all your personal finances together. You are going to gross it up for taxes, and you are going to reverse engineer it into your business. You're going to have journal prompts for self-reflection. Everything is there. When you download that, it'll also give you access to our Facebook group, and that's where I hang out a ton. So I encourage them to come there as well. I'm live in there every week, and it's called The Profit Factor.
Nice. Well, thank you. Denai, is there anything else you want to leave us with? Again, this has been a pleasure. I got to know you personally, and dude, you're kick-ass, man. I'm excited to get to know you even further. I think there's a lot that you have to offer. And no, I'm super pumped. I appreciate you being here. Any last words that you have?
Yeah, I would say in closing, the very last thing
Right.
that I would really say is at the end of the day, okay, if you guys don't know what's going on in your bank account, you actually don't know what's going on in your business. And what's going on in your business is going to have a tremendous impact on what's going on in your life. So it's all cyclical. So I encourage you to start taking control over your money and stopping allowing it to just control you, because you're never going to be happy if that's what's going on.
All right. Well, on that point, Denai, you guys heard it here. The Chic CFO dropping bombs, dropping gems. Seriously, we're gonna have some great snippets here. I appreciate you again. I don't want to keep you any longer. I know you got to get to the kids. You got to get to football
We're heading to
yourself.
football.
So
I can hear them starting
Yeah.
to get their shoes off.
all right, well, cool. Well, thank your husband, thank your kids for allowing you to jump on with us and jump on for the Cleaning and Cocktails family. Thank you again. Appreciate you, and cheers to your success and to many more years. And to when the kids get 35 years old, they're still taking you out to vacation.
Yes. Fingers crossed.
All right.
I'll let you all know if the plan worked.
All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, Denai.